Let's move on to Olivier Giroud. He moves on to Chelsea. What do you make of this move? Do you not like the idea from the Arsenal standpoint of doing business with the team that you're chasing for that top 4 spot? Does that bug you at all?
Not particularly, no, I have to say. I think Giroud is a good get for Chelsea, bearing in mind recently they were talking about Andy Carroll. Now, I don't know how much truth there was in this. Andy Carroll, Peter Crouch,
Ashley
Barnes. Olivier Giroud is a big step up from that. I think something like a goal almost every 2 games for France. He potentially could lead the line for them in the summer. I'm not his biggest fan, but could he do a job for Chelsea with the Hazards and the Pedros and the Willians around about him if Morata's not performing? I think he can.
That's the thing. Is this move more about replacing Batshuayi or is it about pushing Morata?
I think it's more about replacing Batshuayi right now. And I think pound for pound, as an out-and-out striker, I don't think Olivier Giroud is better or pushes Morata.
Even when he's not scoring?
Even when he's not scoring. Saying that, I will say, I feel Giroud is best as part of a front 2. And maybe that comes into Conte's thinking in bringing him in. Maybe that's where he finds some success that he didn't find at Arsenal. But in terms of pushing Morata to make Morata better, I don't think Giroud's the answer.
Well, Giroud can't push Morata?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Morata's a much better player, but, you know, Morata has to actually be fit and not have his bad back and not be suspended. And
score goals.
We've seen the whole reason we're in the situation is that Morata isn't always available. When he's not there, we have got, you know, Hazard playing at centre forward or Pedro at centre forward. You know, these aren't good solutions. With Giroud, you've got somebody you can bring off the bench who can mix it. I think he can play with Morata in certain situations. Morata's played with a big man before. Gives you options. The other good thing from Chelsea's perspective that they were very, very keen on, which is why the Dzeko deal didn't happen, is in 18 months, he's gone. He's off your books. People make a big deal of the fact that he's 32, but they did not want to commit to a long-term, expensive long-term contract when they know maybe Chelsea's next manager might not want Olivier Giroud around. And in that sense, I thought they were quite successful in getting him.
Let's be honest, if Giroud is pushing Morata, he'll fall over. Couldn't resist it because that's all he's got to do. I mean, if Giroud can stay on his feet, right, and put himself around and be physical, straight away he can be better than Alvaro Morata at the moment, right? Because Alvaro Morata is a very good player, but we're not seeing it. Right, we're not seeing it, and I think Giroud could push him, could be an option, because clearly Batshuayi was not in the manager's plan and he wanted something different. And as Gab said, this makes sense, albeit it's about 18 million or something, potentially for 18 months. But that's the way it's going these days. Clubs don't mind spending that.
I think the issue with Morata right now is just a lack of confidence. And as a result, going over is the easy option because he doesn't want to take the shot because he's been so poor in front of goal of
there's a way, but that's even more reason to sort of puff your chest out and be physical and put yourself around.
He's taking the easy way out. He's going down, let somebody else take the pass. He's taking the easy way out.
He was at Real Madrid and he was at Juventus and he wasn't always the #1 starter. Sometimes he was, but he wasn't the guy that those clubs relied on a regular basis. He's gone to London, they're in the Premier League, they're under pressure. Conte and Chelsea are now relying on Morata week in, week out. And I think he's feeling the pressure of that, and it's time for him to stand up.
If Morata struggles, could you see Giroud starting in Champions League?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. Has the experience and the know-how. I think he could do a job. Conte's all right. I mean, I honestly don't know. I know they've signed Giroud today, which I don't think is a particularly bad signing, I have to be honest. And it's a good experience as a backup potentially for Morata. But maybe I just don't know what's going on at this club longer term, and I certainly don't know what's happening with Conte longer term.
Well, in terms of Conte's future, I think we've talked about it. It's out there. He didn't extend the length of his contract when he got his bump last year. A lot of people wouldn't be surprised if he'd moved on at the end of the season, regardless. You know, either after winning a trophy or after not winning a trophy. I think right now there's another issue where there is a bit of a vacuum because Michael Emenalo left the club, of course, in November. He's now the director of football at Monaco, and you don't necessarily have that technical vision coupled with the authority. Still, people there know what they're doing, but they don't necessarily have the personality. I think that's frustrating for Conte. And it's really hitting them hard.
They got the draw with Norwich recently in some of the game. I think the one against Stoke.
It was 4 0-0s in a row.
Yeah.
4 draws in a row.
Newcastle, one of the teams anyway. They beat Brighton. They did manage to beat Brighton, but in between they get knocked out of the League Cup by Arsenal, and deservedly so. And particularly when Arsenal made a bulky changes in the first leg at Stamford Bridge. now they lose. Not just get beat by Bournemouth, they get pasted 3-0 at home by a team early in the season that looked as if they were going to be fighting for their life for Premier League survival. This is a guy who had a 13-game winning streak last year. I know there's been some changes, but why is he not getting a tune out of these same players that he was last season? I mean, it's rather worrying if I was a Chelsea fan.
For a long time, I thought if anybody was going to pip Manchester United to second place, it would be Chelsea. They just need to get their house in order, but this shows that the house continues to crumble even further.
So Chelsea drops to 4th on goal differential behind Liverpool. How high of a level is the concern right now for Chelsea as far as that top 4 spot? Because a month or two ago, you might have said they felt like a pretty sure thing.
Agreed. Yeah, I totally agree. And you know, I think with all those 3 teams, I think Man United, well, they've got a bit of breathing space, but it's not much. I don't know.
Everybody else has their issues, and they've been more than evident. And the one thing that we've been saying about Manchester United is, you know, they can grind a result out. Now, again, if you're a betting man, I'm sure you could get shorter odds on Chelsea winning 3-0 than losing 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. They win 3-0, they go second. But now this side, and now all of a sudden I'm sitting back and noticing the last time Chelsea won a title, Jose Mourinho couldn't get a tune out of his team. It saw the end of him. Now Antonio comes in, wins a title, and I'm starting to look at these players and wonder what exactly is going on in that dressing room.
If I was Tottenham, I'd be encouraged by what I'm seeing above me.